Office is quiet today. Everybody's off playing Blood on the Clock Tower, having fun, murdering, and being murdered. Crumbopulous Michael is there. He just loves killing. Not me, though. Give me a good list of wrestling stories to read any day. Now look, here's one now. I'm Tempest from WrestleTalk, and here are this week's 10 wrestling stories you may have missed. And if you weren't aware, we do this list every week, except when there are pay-per-views like last week, so go back 2 weeks if you want to hear another one, narrated by Adam Blampier. You love that man. I know you do. Number 1, Swerve Strickland explains why it's good if Tony Khan gets in over his head. Tony Khan is a very busy man at the best of times. Vice chairman at Fulham FC, vice president of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it is of course his role as AEW president, booker, and professional hugger that keeps him the most busy, especially as of late. To the outside looking in, it's easy to imagine TK being a tad on edge every other day given the unharmonious backstage atmosphere in AEW lately. However, one AEW talent seems to think that if TK is in fact feeling overwhelmed, it can only be a good thing long term. Speaking to the Say Less podcast, Swerve Strickland stated, if he is in over his head, good, because he has to be challenged that way. He needs to. He knows he needs to. You don't do $1 million gate on Wednesday night at Arthur Ashe without challenges. He should be going at those challenges. He should be dealing with locker room morale. He has to go through that. If he doesn't, how will he grow? Strickland then went on to compare Khan's struggles to his former rival Vince McMahon's own growing pains over the years, saying, Vince McMahon has fought people. We've seen these things, but that was like 20 years in the game. They almost went bankrupt how many times? AEW has to face these challenges because they have to grow and evolve, and if you don't grow and evolve without, you have to build Kevlar. Number 2, Dustin Rhodes planning retirement? Since the inception of AEW in 2019, it has seemed as if Dustin Rhodes' career has been aging like Benjamin Button, with the bizarre member of the Rhodes family only getting better with age. He has been a constant presence in AEW in some shape or form, beginning with his memorable duel with his brother Cody, to most recently challenging for the ROH World Championship against former champion Claudio Castagnoli in August. However, Dustin's appearances have certainly become more sporadic over time, and in a recent post on Twitter, the veteran has seemingly hinted towards imminently hanging up his boots, saying, man, old age has caught up to me, guys. As much as I push myself beyond my limits, I can honestly say I am doing some heavy thinking about the next step. We all think we can go forever with new batteries, but time comes for us all. Kinda scared, TBH. Hashtag keep stepping. No matter what Dustin decides to do next, he will leave behind a fantastic career in which he saved the best for last, and we wish him nothing but the best. Number 3, Chris Statlander appears after Dynamite. Following the main event of this week's Dynamite, which saw Orange Cassidy defeat Pac to claim the All-Atlantic Championship, injured AEW star Chris Statlander made her surprise return. Unfortunately for TV viewers, though, this came after the show went off the air. However, leave it to Sean Ross Sapp to document the segment and catch a snapshot of it all going down. As the best friend celebrated in the ring, Cassidy revealed that despite winning his first AEW championship, he doesn't actually enjoy carrying things, which then led to Statlander making an appearance to do the honors and join in the jubilation and hugs in the ring. Unfortunately for fans of Statlander, she was still seen wearing a large knee brace, so an in-ring return does not seem close as she's still recovering from tearing her ACL and lateral meniscus in August. It was nice to see her though. Just next time, maybe air it on TV for all of us to say, eh, Tony? Number 4, the Bollywood Boys debut for AEW. Prior to Dynamite on Wednesday, another ex-WWE act made their AEW debut on Dark Elevation. As confirmed once again by SRS in attendance in Toronto, the place where I should have been, and no, I'm not bitter about it, the Bollywood Boys, formerly known as the Singh Brothers in WWE, competed in a losing effort against those damn ass boys, Colton and Austin Gunn. Since being released from WWE in June 2021, Harv and Gurv Sira have competed for numerous independent promotions such as Defy Wrestling and Vancouver's NEW. It is unclear whether this was just a one-off appearance or whether AEW is interested in signing the pair, but it is nice to see them back on a big stage once more. Yes, I know Dark Elevation isn't necessarily a big stage, but you know what I mean. Number 5, WWE creative changes to Ronda Rousey and the Brawling Brutes. 2 acts that got big W's at Saturday's Extreme Rules pay-per-view were new SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey, who forced Liv Morgan to pass out in a weird triangle choke thingy, and the Brawling Brutes, who took down Imperium in an outstanding opener. Interestingly, both acts have had shifting identities as of late, with neither arguably having definitive heel or babyface turns, and instead just organically transitioning to the other side. Rousey had been performing as a face since her return at the Royal Rumble, despite acting like a grumpy heel for most of it, yet saw the first instance of a change in character following her controversial loss to Liv Morgan at SummerSlam. She'd been operating in almost a tweener role since, mostly just making Adam Pearce's life difficult. However, according to PW Insider, Rousey is firmly a heel going forward and is listed as such in their internal roster. As for the Brutes, who performed as heels for the majority of the year, but have organically shifted to faces during Sheamus's feud over the IC title with Walter, they too have reportedly switched allegiances, being swapped over to the light side, and will operate as babyfaces going forward. Number 6. Sarah Logan plans. One potential returning name to WWE that has flown firmly under the radar this week is Sarah Logan, who despite not being formally revealed yet, is expected to be the mystery female voice which has been heard in the Viking Raiders' recent SmackDown vignettes. According to PW Insider, the vignettes spelling out the impending Valhalla will continue throughout the coming weeks, with Logan continuing to play a part. Logan, who is the real-life wife of one half of the Viking Raiders, Eric, has been largely absent from the wrestling business since her 2020 WWE release. Although she did make an appearance at this year's Royal Rumble, as well as a match at the short-lived Control Your Narrative promotion in May. Logan is a natural fit for the Raiders, with a number of SmackDown factions mixing male and female members recently. However, with her husband Eric currently sidelined indefinitely with a foot injury, the timing of Logan's first on-air appearance is still unclear. Number 7. Another WWE name change? Name changes were commonplace during the latter years of the Vinnie Mac era of WWE, and while Triple H has spent much of his time undoing many of these changes by granting first names back to talent like Austin Theory and Matt Riddle, and recently switching Max Dupree back to LA Knight, it looks like Trips may be looking to carry on Vince's tradition somewhat in NXT. During a recent wave of trademark filings from WWE, it was interestingly noted that among many in-ring NXT names being trademarked, there was also rather curiously a filing for Bailey Matthews, the real name of NXT's Charlie Dempsey. Dempsey, who is the son of former NXT general manager and current AEW talent William Regal, has not appeared on TV since the August 30th episode of NXT, with this latest report perhaps suggesting a repackaging could be in store for the second-generation talent. Number 8. Huge NXT ratings. WWE's TV ratings have been on a mostly upward trajectory since Triple H took charge. Most strikingly was this week's SmackDown and Raw season premieres, which both saw a large spike in viewership. Joining in on the fun, according to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, is NXT, that has reportedly drawn its highest viewership since October 2021's Halloween Havoc. While a small number compared to the whopping 2.243 million of SmackDown and 1.82 million from Raw, NXT drew 743,000 viewers on USA Network, a jump up from last week's reported figure of 625,000. The all-important 18 to 49 demo saw NXT draw an 0.15 rating, up from the previous week's 0.13, with NXT finishing 14th overall on cable. The impressive figures are even more so considering the stiff competition posed by TBS's MLB Showdown between the Yankees and Guardians, as well as the resumption of ESPN's NHL season coverage. Also impressively was the fact that the show didn't receive the same season premiere labeling that Raw and SmackDown did, yet still got a massive boost in viewers. One of Triple H's most commendable achievements thus far in his tenure as head of creative has been the acknowledgement of NXT as a reputable third brand of the company. No longer is NXT treated like the ugly stepchild of WWE with no canonical consistency with Raw and SmackDown. Instead, superstars have been crossing over between the main roster and NXT, as seen this week with Sonya Deville, with NXT achievements and storylines also being acknowledged on the main roster. All of this has made NXT feel like a bigger deal, and maybe that's why the ratings are reflecting that. Or it could just be because they finally got rid of the color splash and set. Yeah, that's probably it. Number 9. Backstage details on Mia Yim leaving Impact. In a week that has seen numerous Impact talent such as Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis, and Vincent all leave the company, Mia Yim has now officially joined that list. According to Fightful Select, Yim's departure comes following the expiration of her contract and is now free to work somewhere else. Despite holding the Knockouts Championship during her first run with Impact in 2016, she failed to replicate that achievement this time around. She most recently competed at Bound for Glory, where she competed against Mickie James in a losing effort. Despite once again departing the company, Yim has reportedly left on good terms and was well regarded in the Impact locker room, with the door open to a return in the future. With her husband Keith Lee currently in AEW, it's easy to imagine Tony Khan making her an offer to help bolster their women's division. However, Yim also has her history working with Triple H in NXT, and with Trips running the show on the main roster, that would certainly appear to make WWE a more enticing option than it would have been otherwise. Her options are most certainly open, and we look forward to seeing what the HBIC is doing next. And number 10, New Japan Pro Wrestling announces a new championship. Ollie Davis loves championships. He can't get enough of them. Ask him about it, he'll tell you. Not content with the 9 current titles they have spread across New Japan proper and New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, 10 if you include the IWGP Women's Championship also coming in November, New Japan has announced yet another strap for their talent to fight over. The New Japan World TV Championship was unveiled at Monday's Declaration of Power event in Ryogoku Sumo Hall by President Takami Obari. The title will reportedly showcase New Japan's younger crop of talent, with matches contested with 15-minute time limits and in towns that don't regularly receive championship matches. It was also announced that the inaugural champion will be determined via a tournament that begins this week, with the eventual winner being determined at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th, 2023. A problem with New Japan's title scene in recent years has been the lack of hierarchy since the death of the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, RIP, and hopefully with this new title geared towards a specific and often overlooked portion of their roster, that will help with this. But also, just when we thought AEW's title scene was a little too crowded, leave it to New Japan to put it all in perspective. And that's our list. If you enjoyed it, watch another link. We do Ones on Parts Fun Known every week, and we do this news list every week here on WrestleTalk. Until then, I've been Tempest. Please, for the love of God, jam that jam.